Very go. Oh, this is such a good performance of this. Wow. Yo, what up? Today we're gonna be reacting to Billie EIlish. What Was I Made For? Live Saturday Night Live. Let's go. All right.
Now I just fall down. I used to know, but I'm not sure now what I
This is unexpected.
What was I made for?
Okay, so Billie EIlish always sings incredible live, right? I didn't expect her to use the exact same vocal style that she uses in the recording live. And that's because the style, the technique that she's using here requires an incredible amount of air. And most of the time, pop singers don't do this live because it's very easy to run out of breath, especially if you're dancing or something at the same time that you're singing. You'll probably see what I'm talking about. Hold up. Listen for those breaths.
I wasn't ideal, looked so alive. Turns out I'm not real, just something you paid for. What was I made for?
You hear that? A lot of people, when I'm working with them on this particular type of a technique, don't believe me, or rather, it takes them a few tries to really get the hang of how much air is actually being used to perform in this style. It's not, turns out I'm not real, where it's this very steady, even, controllable amount of air. It's this, turns out, where it's very much, use every little bit. And again, this is sort of kind of counterintuitive because you're sort of expected when you're singing the style to be out of breath at the end of the phrase. But what does a lot of traditional teaching do with students? Well, it tries to, work on the support, extend how long a note can be held without taking a breath. It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, that might be kind of how you want to sing a lot of the time, but there's other times where you need to throw that out the window, and every line, sometimes even just a word or two, empty the tank, inhale, empty the tank, inhale. Listen for that.
I don't know how to feel, but I wanna try.
Sorry. She looked at the camera as if like, it's like, help me, I can't breathe.
I don't know how to feel.
That's why I'm surprised that she decided to sing this way live. In my own experience, a vast majority of the time, when I hear this technique on a track, I don't hear it done live. Unless it's like, just one or two notes. When it's a whole song, yeah, no, singers don't do that. And specifically because how difficult it is with the breathing, it's a lot easier to just use a little bit less air. Nobody will really notice. Billie EIlish, I guess, is not that kind of person. In fact, there's an interview, I believe, that she did recently where she talks a little bit about her vocal technique in this song and the choices that she made. I actually have not seen this yet.
It's not even that it's high. It is high in my range, but it's not about that. It's about
the tone,
the delivery. I was trying to do a very specific thing with my voice, which was this like very soft, held back, upper range falsetto where
held back. Girl, Billie, you be watching my channel, huh?
As I could have, I could have belted it. I could have sung it more out. I could have sung it in like more of a choral, like choir type da 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 da. And instead it was like a da 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 da. I used to float. It's really hard to do. Like, honestly, it's really hard to do. It's really hard to sound good and be enunciating the words correctly and enough.
I remember that being a big part of the song was making sure that it was intelligible.
I wanted you to understand what I was saying. Could have literally done like a, I used to float and now but that's not what the song wanted, you know? And I could have gone, I used to float. There's so many ways I could have sung it, but none of it.
Bruh, people think sometimes I'm just making this shit up. Be honest. Now, sometimes I do get these comments. Actually, quite often, it really depends on the video where people say, I'm overanalyzing it. The singer obviously never thought of any of this stuff. They just do whatever comes natural. Come on. The issue here is that most of the time, artists are not as open as Billie is here. And they want to, obviously just create this image of them being perfect at everything that they do all the time. They're just a genius and the sounds just magically come out. I hate to break it to you guys, but that's not how it works.
It worked the way that this kind of heartbroken, almost like you were just crying and now you're singing delivery was, and it was the hardest choice of all of the choices I could have made. I had this exact vision for what I wanted it to sound like, and I got it there, and I feel really proud. I think it's one of the best, if I can be honest, and self whatever, I feel like it's one of my best vocal performances I've ever given.
But you were harsh about it.
We'd
do the whole vocal and comp it, and we'd be working on the production. She'd go home for the night, and she'd come back the next day, and she'd be like, I need to re-record this line, and this line.
Dude, it's so, let me say this. I would say the vast majority of the time when this technique is used in pop music, it's accompanied with a considerable dose of autotune, which I do not hear on her track, and obviously it's not on her live performance either. And that's just because it's so hard to keep the pitch when you're using this much air. It makes you want to go flat.
Yeah. When I was starting out, I had one way of singing, and that's how I sang. And everything that I sang, I just sang it how I knew how to sing it. And now I have all these choices, and I can play with my instrument. I have an instrument now that I can play with, and it's really amazing, and it's really fun, but it's definitely.
Billie watches the channel. It's confirmed. Okay, we got to get back to the video. That's very interesting though. I didn't think that she went so in depth on that.
But someday I might. Someday I might.
Oh, does Phineas sing in this? Why does he have a mic? Ooh, that cello.
When did it end? All the enjoyment. I'm sad again. But don't tell my boyfriend it's not what he's made for.
Oh man, dude, some of those new sounds that she has there, huh?
It's not what he's made for.
She has this made, right? It's okay. Well, it's hard to say because even what she's just said, she uses her voice as an instrument now, and she has tons of different tones and techniques and colors, which is something we've been talking about on this channel, right? We've been seeing the progression of the different sounds that she's been bringing out. So this isn't necessarily a new sound for her, somewhat, I guess, but it's these open, dark tones that she has in the low part of her range. It's very beautiful.
What was I made for?
The run.
Cause I don't know how to feel, but I wanna try.
It's interesting because a lot of people think, and it really depends on your technique and your skill as a singer and blah, 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 blah. A lot of people really, for some reason, discredit airy sounding vocals because it's easy to just say, oh, it's whisper singing. My view, and also the view of probably most of the singers I've ever worked with, the whisper singing portion of this, significantly more difficult than this part where she's kind of a little bit louder because she has more control of her air now.
I don't know how to feel, but someday I might.
Very go. Oh, this is such a good performance of this. Wow.
Think I forgot how to be happy. Something I'm not. Something I can't be, something I wait for.
Okay, so the other tricky bit about how she is performing this quiet sound is also that, like she said, it's a little bit held back, right? So it's not
Something I can't be.
It's not something I got, which is what she said too, right? It's not like out. Something I can't be. Or full. It's kind of this something I can't be. And like she said as well, it's kind of like she's crying. And that is also very tricky because on top of using all of the air, it's like you're sending the air out, but you're also holding it back a little bit. It's kind of weird. That is actually quite tricky.
Something I wait for. Something I'm made for.
Is that a really, really low falsetto? If it's so tricky to know exactly where the falsetto ends, the chest voice begins, but it is so low and so delicate. Oh.
Something I'm made for.
Yo, that was actually so good. What the hell? Oh my god, these comments. Anyone who writes her off is just whispering, has never sang. It is so difficult to have the level of control that she has at such a soft timbre, especially with as much whisper as she does it with here. She is clearly vocally gifted. Oh god, what are the comments? What are the replies? I'm a vocalist and the soft singing really isn't hard. LOL. It's just not. Singing louder is actually harder. I mean, everyone's different. It really depends on what you personally struggle with. Some people do struggle with being way too airy. For someone who struggles with being way too airy, maybe singing louder is more difficult. I'm talking about singing at a lower volume is not so difficult. It just isn't. Well, that's the thing. Okay, so that's the thing is she's not actually singing at that low volume because of the amount of... Do I even need to argue with this guy? But maybe it's interesting to you guys. But because of the amount of air that is in the tone, hey... It's not like it's I used to float, because that's very different. That's just singing at a low volume. Now I just fall down. I used to know, but I'm not sure now. Now I just fall down. I used to know, but I'm not sure now. The progression of Billie's vocals throughout all of her performances is just incredible, especially with this song. Perfection. She expanded her vocal range. I don't know if that's true. I'm getting triggered by these comments today. I think like she even said this, even though that it is kind of high, it's not really about how high it is.
It's not about that. It's about the delivery.
Because it's not that high. It's like she said, the delivery. Not an easy song to sing live, but they completely nailed it. True. That's all we got for today. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Let me know what you think I should react to next. Subscribe to the channel if you like this video. Of course you like the video. You're here right now. And until next time, Tristans and Tris fam. Peace.